All right. Hello again, adventurers, and welcome. Another exciting daily vlog. This is daily vlog something. I think it's 184. Math is hard, you guys. It really is. What do we have? 82. Yep, we're 84. I I'm still not doing great, but I spent the vast majority of yesterday and today uncookie conscious, so that was fun. Um, my, my brother got roast chicken from Costco, and so I got to have some roast chicken that was really good. Like, Costco impresses me with the quality of their food. It's not like Michelin star or anything like that, but it's consistent no matter where you go. And that is really hard. So, anyway, I am feeling a little bit better. I'm trying to drink just a shit ton of water right now because due to the like really bad nausea I've been experiencing, I haven't been able to ingest anything until basically until I was able to eat the chicken earlier, and so I haven't been able to drink water, and that's really bad because being dehydrated causes a bunch of other issues, including making you nauseous, whatever it is. So that's fun. But as of right now, I'm feeling a little bit better. Um, Obviously, I'm in front of my computer instead of wailing in pain in my bed, so that's a plus. Um, I guess I can bring this up to you guys because those of you that actually watch my daily vlogs actually care about this stuff. So I had somebody comment on one of my older videos, and by older I mean just last December. So I've been doing this for 11 years. To me, it's not an old video. Comment on something 7 years old. That's an old video. But it was the Fabula Ultima Session 0 that I ran. And they they asked me to do more Fabula Ultima content. So I replied to them and said, hey, love Fabula Ultima. The specific content they were asking for was things like world building tips and, how to construct a scene in Fabula Ultima, stuff like that, which is not stuff I generally do on this channel for one major reason. And that reason is if you look for tabletop RPG advice in general on the web, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Reddit, wherever, like 90 to 95% of it is geared towards dungeon masters and game masters because it's a complicated thing to do and it's a remarkably easy thing to do wrong. So I totally understand that, but the focus of this channel for a long time has been not so much on giving advice for GMs, though I do that from time to time. I tend to focus on giving advice on how to be better players because it's just not something that is touched on to the point where, there's a phrase that gets tossed around every so often. No D&D is better than bad D&D. And it's basically used by a lot of people in RPG horror stories, where they go, yeah, I understand that you want to play D&D, but it's better to just not play D&D if the D&D that you're going to be playing is abusive and toxic and just not good for you. But something that seems to always be the linchpin in all these things is how it's generally almost always the DM's fault. If the DM didn't kick out the toxic player or the DM didn't negotiate things right, like everything that goes wrong in a D&D campaign somehow links back to the DM not doing their job correctly. And aside from toxic quote unquote toxic player behavior, things like main character syndrome or just being an outright creep or abuser. We never really talk about, well, what makes you a good player. There's tons of stuff that talks about what makes you a good DM, but it's very rare for channels to talk about what makes you a good player. And that's what D&D Deep Dive is focused on. That's what Essential Lessons 20 is focused on, is helping you understand and giving you the tools to be a good player. Understanding your character, class or role or whatever really, really well. Being able to look at a feature and go, okay, well, this is what it's designed for, but these are the other ways that I can use it to allow me to approach situations from a more unique perspective. Stuff like that makes you a good player. Like I said, of the 5% of non-DMing advice that exists online, the vast majority of that is build guides. This is how you can create this particular cool build, or this is how you can break this game. So really, the only player-centered stuff is basically trying to teach you how to break the game, which in my book is bad player behavior. If your goal is to break the game, then you are being a bad player because you're making the DM's life that much more difficult. And you're not bringing anything positive. Like I said, the reason that I do Essential Lessons 20 is to give you all the tools to help you make the choices that you want to make. I want players to understand their roles, understand how to use the different systems in the most varied ways possible, because when I create problems for my players to solve, I've gotten to the point, because I'm very, very lucky to play with a bunch of really, really skilled players, and I generally don't write solutions to the problems I create, because I know whatever the players are going to come up with is generally going to be better than anything that I make up. And for me, that takes a huge burden off of me as a game master, because I can go, wow, this is a really cool idea, or this is a really interesting problem, and then present it to my players without having to also come up with how my players are going to solve it before I can show it to them. And it just means that I can throw more interesting and bizarre ideas at my players. And again, the only reason that happens is because my players are very, very good at what they do. So, yeah. So the person, I'm very, very sorry, I cannot remember your screen name because I can't remember names in general. But for the person that wanted me to do kind of more stuff about Fabula Ultima, I love Fabula Ultima. I just did an in-depth review of the Techno Fantasy Atlas, and I was blown away with how awesome it is. But right now, first of all, I'm focusing on Essence 20 because they're by far the most popular videos I have on here, with a few rare exceptions of some Critical Role stuff. And in addition to that, nobody's really talking about Essence 20. So it's a hole in the market. Now, there's not a ton of people talking about Fabula Ultima either. And as far as, even basic stuff that you find for other RPGs like Pathfinder or D&D, things like build guides and stuff like that, you just really don't get it outside of, there's a Fabula Ultima Discord server that I belong to because it's awesome. And so you can find stuff there, but it's a Discord server. It's not really evergreen material. If you're not familiar with that term, evergreen material is basically just stuff that can exist on its own forever. So like YouTube videos are technically evergreen because unless they are taken down, that information can persist there for a very, very long time. So yeah, I'd be interested in doing Fabula Ultima stuff. I just, with my health the way it is, I'm having a hard enough time just getting my Essential Essence 20 stuff out. And I can't really focus on two different RPG systems simultaneously. And I'm on a roll with the Essence 20 stuff. So for the foreseeable future, I'm focusing on Essence 20. Once I get through all the core books, and that includes things like Origins and Influences, and probably at least general perks and grid powers for Power Rangers, because those are such a major part of each role compared to all the other systems where your focus is going to have a much bigger impact than your general perk choice. I'm probably going to stick with Essence 20 for at least a little while. But after that, who knows? Again, I'd love to do some more Fabio Ultima content. The thing with Fabio Ultima, because it is a much more rules light style Giga game, my normal format for like Essential Essence 20 or D&D Deep Dive doesn't work as well, because a lot of the abilities are combat focused, and combat is significantly less complex than most other tabletop RPGs on purpose. But that would make the content that I normally make to be really kind of weird and not as useful. So we'll see. Like I said, I really, really love Fabio Ultima. It might be something... I've already talked to my players about this. Once the two D&D campaigns I'm currently running are over, I probably won't be running D&D again for a little while. And I probably won't be running a campaign for those players for at least like 6 months to a year. And so what's going to happen is I've already told them, whoever wants to run, whether it's a one-shot, whether it's a mini campaign, whether you want to try your hand at a full-blown campaign, go for it. I will stream it. I will schedule it. I will help build the assets for it and everything like that. I'll help you get set up. But I'm not going to be GMing. Because I have my Zelda game that I'm going to be GMing probably for another 4 or 5 years. So it's not like I'm going to stop GMing altogether, but I would like at least a short respite to be able to play a little bit. And I do have a single game that I have been able to play in. But the games themselves are kind of infrequent because everybody has really complicated schedules, except for me, because I don't have a life. And yeah, it's just been interesting dealing with it. So yeah. Anyway, I thought I'd tell you guys what I was thinking, and see what you guys are thinking about. If you guys would really be interested in more Fabio Ultima content, again, I can't do it simultaneously with Essential Essence, but maybe between like books or maybe after I get done with all the roles and focuses, I could take a short break and do some Fabio Ultima content, and then after I'm done with that, I could switch back to doing influences and origins and stuff for Essence 20. Or, after I finish the Power Rangers book, because I still have one more Power Rangers role, the White Ranger role, to do. Once I'm done with that, we could do a short, couple months of Fabio Ultima, then move on to... It's looking like you guys want Transformers next, so that's probably what I'm going to be doing next. So switching over to Transformers, doing that, and then after that's done, doing a short break of Fabio Ultima. Like I said, I love the system. I can't do two things simultaneously. So let me know what you guys are thinking about this. Otherwise, again, it's all for me today. See you guys next time. All right? Bye-bye.